The 2012 RBS Six Nations marked a new era for English rugby after its disappointing showing at the World Cup 4 months earlier. The man given the task of restoring England's fortunes was Stuart Lancaster.
Rugby for me, it's the ultimate team game, because if everyone doesn't pull together and you've got one weak link or someone doesn't buy in, then you're probably not going to be long-term successful.
In a break with tradition, one of Lancaster's first moves was to take his new squad up to the West Park Rugby Club near Leeds.
I wanted to let the English rugby supporters and the sporting public know that the players have got their feet on the ground, and we're going back to grassroots a bit, and happy to train at a Yorkshire 2 club.
We were all aware that this was the start of something, and it was up to us to make what we could of it. And I think everyone bought into it, everyone was focused, everyone wanted it, and I think we set a real good foundation going forward.
To the World Game, the RBS Six Nations is huge, but to the Northern Hemisphere it's even bigger. It's only when you're actually in it do you actually appreciate the size and the history and tradition that goes with these national rivalries.
And there's no bigger rivalry in the game than England against Scotland. At Murrayfield on the opening weekend of the 2012 RBS Six Nations, Stuart Lancaster's new-look squad featured 8 uncapped players.
I think his decision to pick new players and to put new players on the bench was less about distancing himself from the past, but more about him looking to the future. He was very bold to do it, to make so many changes, but equally, why be the England coach if you don't trust your own intuition and get on with it?
And a try from Charlie Hodgson helped England retain the Calcutta Cup.
It was a relief, and pride and enjoyment out of getting that win, because they were a very difficult side to play. We didn't play fantastic rugby, but we just hung in there, and our character probably dragged us over the line.
It definitely settled some nerves, but also showed us we were on the right path. All that hard work, all the values, all the things we committed to were definitely showing through, and hopefully we could carry on going onwards and upwards.
A second win came away in Rome, but against Wales at Twickenham, England succumbed to a first defeat of the tournament after a late Scott Williams try.
That's where the small margins really do matter. You do need a bit of luck, but I wasn't despondent because I thought we'd played well and I thought we'd improved on the Italy performance. But obviously recognised that we had a big challenge ahead in France, coming around the corner.
And England showed they'd turned that corner when they travelled to Paris and beat France in dramatic fashion.
It wasn't a lucky win. We fought hard, we won that game, and France were a good team, and so I think as a whole we grew a lot of confidence from that, and I think as a team it gave us a lot of gratification.
You saw strength of character, you saw them battling, you saw good forward display, you saw them really coming into their own and starting to look like a team, not just a kind of group of individuals.
Really was a special game, one of the best for me. All I wanted to do was do the best job I can, win as many games as we could, but rebuild the culture and the identity of England rugby. Everything
that the coach and the captain said indicated real strength of character, determination and the humility. You suddenly thought, these are proper people playing really hard.
It was a significant win for us at that point, and then suddenly we're going into the Ireland game, 3 out of 4.
And 3 out of 4 became 4 out of 5 when England beat Ireland at Twickenham, a result that saw them finish second in the final standings.
As a team, as a nation, as a crowd, we fed off our set piece, especially in that game. It was giving us an emotional high, and it was doing the opposite to them. As a forward, I think it doesn't get much better than that.
They understood each other, they knew what they were doing, they trusted each other, they trusted their coach, and were starting to really look like a proper team. They looked as if they were a team that had been together a long time, not just put together weeks earlier.
Rugby's a team game. It's not a game of individuals. You need to, be there, put your body on line for your teammates, and they know they're going to do the same. And when you achieve those sort of things, good teams go to great, I think.
Ultimately, it was based on a group of players who didn't know each other that well, who had not a lot of experience, pulling together and putting in a series of performances that almost got them a Grand Slam. It was character and teamwork that got us to that point.